He was only 11 years old, found with a gunshot wound to his jaw and 18 stab wounds, and was wrapped in a suitcase and thrown over a bridge. And to think that the one person literally everyone trusted to be his mom is the person being accused. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm G and I do true crime videos, story crime videos, Mondays to Fridays. If that's something you like, consider subscribing. And this is still an ongoing case, so like my usual disclaimer, all what I'm saying is just stuff you can find, I've read on the internet, and I'm compiling into one video so you can find this stuff online. And this case particularly is going to be a huge allegedly because she's still undergoing trial. So today we are going to be looking at the Gannon Sauch case. Gannon was born on the 29th of September 2008 to Gannon and Albert Sauch. They were married at the time, and when he was born, he was a premature baby. He was about less than 2 pounds, I believe, and they were not sure he was going to make it. Even though he had a rough childhood, he ended up surviving and being a really nice kid. So not at some point in their marriage, the parents decided to get a divorce. Gannon ended up moving with his father, Al, who is going to be Al for the rest of this video, commonly known as Al. So he ended up moving in with his father, Al, his stepmother now, Letitia, and his sister. But the stepmom's daughter, who is an 18-year-old girl at this time, she also lived in the family with them. So their family was made up of Al, his dad, his little sister, his stepmom, and his stepsister. Lennon's dad had a really good job, but his job required him to travel a lot. So Lennon spent a lot of time with his mom, with his stepmom, Letitia, and his two sisters, his stepsister and his sister, and they seemed to be having a good life. But on January 27, 2020, Letitia calls the police at about 7 p.m. and she's just telling the police Lennon is missing. He was supposed to come home by this time, but he's not back yet. So the police are worried. Okay, what happened? Tell us what happened. And all she can really say is the boy went out to play. Like, he went out to play at a friend's house, and the police are like, okay, so you've gone to the, like, everyone it's just normal thinking. So you've gone to the friend's house and he's not there, right? But okay, fine. What is the friend? Which friend was it? Where does the friend live? Tell us so we can go there. And she's like, she's really unable to bring out a name of the friend. Like, she has no, like, it seems to, from what she was saying, the kid just came and said, like, I'm going to a friend's house, bye. And that was it, because she has no name of, she's unable to provide them with a friend. And so the police start looking, they just start thinking that this is a runaway case, and for the first few days they're treating the case like a kid who has just run away, and she had laid the groundwork for that. Well, I'm going to tell you guys later. So the police are treating this case as a kid who has probably run away because he got in trouble. So the police are trying to push for more information and get as much information as they can get, and they're asking her, when last did you see him? When was the last time you saw him? And she said she saw him at about 3:15, between 3:15 and 4 p.m. that day. But don't worry, a neighbor's CCTV camera footage shows that the last time that the kid was seen in that house was about 10 a.m. that same day, about 10:30 that morning. The police personally think that she had never, there's no point in time when she had left the house to actually look for him like a missing child, checking at the neighbors' houses before you decide to finally call the police that this is a missing child. And I just some report I read somewhere, it said that FBI cases show that I think 70% of the people who report a crime are, like, they have something to do with that crime. And it's so funny how allegedly is showing in this case. So 3 days later, January 30th, the police decide to, the case changes from a runaway to a missing person. And also it's a missing person with, like, I don't know, a missing person that needs to be cared for, something like that. I've forgotten the term. That's because Gannon had a certain medication that he has to take daily, and he had not been taking it for like 3 days now. So, like, there is harm could be caused to, it could cause harm to his health. Plus the weather was really bad and he's an 11-year-old kid. Like, they're just thinking, who is harboring him, who is keeping him, he's out in the snow, and it snowed crazily those days. So they were really worried, trying to think of what's wrong with him. Well, the reason why her narrative of a runaway child sailed so well was because of just the information that, well, had been spread during the time. So the reason why I'm saying that she had probably orchestrated all of this to look like the child had run away was because the previous day she had called Al, who was on this work trip, and told him, hey, Gannon had spread, I think it's a child, he mistakenly let candle wax fall on the carpet, and he was feeling so bad about it. So Al should not be mad at him, and like just try to calm down and have patience with the kid. So it seemed like he had done, the child had done something wrong and was trying to run away from that. And I mean, it's crazy, but yeah. And she also had this disturbing video. Like, I don't know why she posted that video later on her Facebook, but it was a crazy video, and it was just really, for me, it was annoying to watch because the child just looked like he was just in bed and sad. He actually looked like someone had his eyes whooped and had just finished crying. And she was like, in the video, she was just like asking him, are you really sure you did not do this intentionally? And the child is like, yeah, sobbingly saying it in such a sad way that he's sorry, he did not mean to do that. And she was just trying to tell him, okay, we are going to have to sell stuff to get the carpet fixed, and I don't know, maybe a sofa. Like, why are you randomly telling a child on video about selling? Like, it's too acted out for me, but that's what I think. So everyone around is trying to, like, neighbors come out, the police come out, and everyone is just trying to find the child. And a few days later, she was actually found on Facebook responding to her people attacking her. Like, she was just arguing with people on Facebook, which is not something that a mom who has just lost their child, because he is a stepchild, but she has literally been raising him. A mom who has just lost their child would not, their main focus will not be trying to respond to dumb strangers on Facebook. So while all of this is going on, a neighbor actually, this part is funny, a neighbor actually said, okay, my security cameras can, like, see into your property, do you want me to, like, check? And she was like, no, I'm fine. The neighbor actually offered that to her, that you want me to, like, check and, like, try to help. And I was like, no, it's okay, I'm fine. No, we're good here. No, don't bother. It was just really weird to think of that. So Al comes back from his trip because obviously his child's missing and he's worried. And the crazy part is she went to pick him up with a rented car. This was the explanation that she gave. She was like, she wanted them, she brought a rented car because she wanted them to leave the airport and go searching for Gannon around. And if he sees a car, their car that he recognizes, he might try to run away, because it's still the narrative of a runaway child. So that's why she was bringing a rented car. And by this time, Gannon's mom had actually flown over, and she was just there trying to find her child and all that. So this is something that I should have mentioned earlier. So the day all of this happened, the teacher actually called Gannon's school and told them he was sick, so he wouldn't be making it to school. And this is the best part. She called her job site and told them, you know, when you just said this child is sick, your child is sick, so he can't make it to school. So you're going to call your job site and be like, hey, my child is sick, so I have to look after him. But no, she called the job site and said her stepfather had been run over and he's dead. Yeah, that's a lie from just nowhere. But it's just really, like, I'm a horrible liar, but I think I should have done better. Like, just relate to lies. You don't need to fabricate each lie. You could literally ask her, did you brush your teeth today? No, my house caught fire. That was just really, I feel like that was a really dumb lie that she lied, especially to her work, because it was just already easy to relate everything together. So February February 3rd, a neighbor comes up and shows he called Al first and showed Al the footage from his security cameras that could like see into their property, and was like, okay, this is what he saw at 10 a.m. that day. The cameras, the video shows Letitia leaving the house, like she backed up the truck, gets in, and Gannon gets in, but like from the video people could see like this is not a normal child running into this, but let's remember she said he was sick, so they felt like he got into the car with a struggle. He got in there with a struggle, so he got into the car and came back hours later, but they could not see Gannon leaving the car. And it's true the camera's view did not see the other side of the car, so maybe he should have gone out through the other side, but there were no feet, like you could not see feet on the ground, so there's just that. Immediately Al sees this footage, she just bursts into tears and starts crying, and it's like she lied, he did not go to a friend's house, and they take the footage to the police. But I mean, his trust is already broken, because like the one person your child is supposed to be safe with has just lied about something as important as this. What else is she lying about? So time goes by and the police really have no updates, and all this while Letitia is just, she's having interviews with people are trying to talk to her, and she's just trying to, her main focus is really just trying to clear her image, defend herself, because she feels like she's been attacked by everybody. So let's agree, people grieve differently, but the interview that she gave was just really crazy, because at some point she was beginning to talk, like she was talking about him, like, okay, tell us about Al and stuff like that, and that's what the interviewer said, and she started speaking about him, but at some point she slipped up and was talking about the kid, but in the past, like, except he's not coming back, then you're going to be talking about him in the past. And at the end of the interview, she's just trying to say, yeah, I can't wait, I'm just ready for him to come back home so everyone can apologize to me, and especially my husband. Like, she's just really focused on getting that apology from people for raising red flags and looking at her with like suspicious eyes. So March 2nd comes up and the police charge her without the body being found. The police probably have something strong, because they charge her with first-degree murder by a person of first-degree murder of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. And that's when she got arrested in Carolina and was extradited back to Colorado, where all of this is happening. So the police arrest her, and you have to be thinking that they must have some really hardcore evidence, because like arresting someone without a body is just like a really ballsy move, and putting those type of charges on them is like a really ballsy move for whoever to do. So they should really have something, they must have something really strong to be able to make that kind of arrest. Now during extradition, remember I told you guys she had to be moved. Okay, during extradition, our dearly beloved, she actually attacked one of the officers that was transporting her, and he had to be sent to the hospital. So guess what? Another crime added to that list of crimes. I don't know if she was like planning that she's going to escape and just disappear. I actually heard somewhere that during when she was in jail, she was planning to escape through one of the windows, and the inmate that assisted her with her plans actually ended up telling a guy. It's just really funny how she thought, and the stories she spun were actually really crazy, and we are going to talk about that in a minute or so. So the search continues, and they're still trying to find this child, even though she has already been charged with murder. But that is already signifying to the parents that they don't see the case going, they don't think he's still alive. And there had been a search in their house, and a lot of things had been gotten out, like the carpet. I read somewhere there were blood stains on the walls, and she's going to have explanations for that in her story. So just like, there were blood stains, there was like blood stains on the walls, blood stains on the carpet, on his bed, like there's just blood stains everywhere, and they were his blood. And I actually read that when the police went and got the car that she rented, they had seen bloodstains in the car before it was rented out to another person. So yeah, it's weird. So all of this is going on, and they have still not been able to find Gannon, and they have still not been able to find a body. On March 20th, 2020, a construction worker finds a suitcase, and they end up finding that's Gannon's body in that suitcase. He had been shot. There was a bullet to his right jaw, the lower right jaw, I read, I believe. And there were 18 stab wounds on his body, like mostly wounds consisting of like self-defense type of wounds. Like, I don't even want to imagine the struggle that little boy had to go through someone that he already trusted, loves, and literally loves. Like, that is literally mom, allegedly. So the police now, after getting this body, she did not get released. So we don't know how the body got there, because from where he was, everything happened, where they live, to where his body was found is about a 22-hour drive. Like, how did the body move from where he got missing to there? Like, no one, all the search was going on there, no one could have been able to find him there. And when the body was found, the police added 8 new charges to her charge that was already existing, and a lot more, including like using firearm and all blunt object, sharp object. There were like charges were added to her count already. So if she was not the one who did it, or if they didn't think she was the one who did it, all of these counts wouldn't, all of these charges wouldn't have added up. They'll probably be releasing her and apologizing, but it's just weird, and people are wondering how the body got to that place. So these are just some irregularities that were found during the investigation, and all of Letitia's different stories that she came up with. So one of the stories that she came up with was that when he made the wax fall on the carpet, it also got burnt a little bit, and they were going to have to like sell stuff. It was going to be very expensive to pay, so they were going to like have to sell stuff to buy a new one and replace it, so that they don't get kicked out of the house, stuff like that. That's what she was explaining to him. So, which opens the door for her bringing in somebody in, and she said she brought in this guy to come and have everything fixed. And this guy, he raped her, and he ended up kidnapping Carl. That was one of the stories that she came up with. There's also the car that she rented, and at some point, some statements that she actually made were even pointing fingers at Al, who had traveled when the child was supposed to have gotten missing. So she said, I can't really quote her, but I'm just going to summarize what she said in the quote. This was when she was already arrested and she was in jail and awaiting trial and all that. And she was making statements like, oh, Al should be the one here in prison, like for actual murder or maybe just manslaughter, because when he came back that day, he was furious, and you know, like stuff like that, kind of pointing the finger at Al. And in the same breath, she just changes and talks about the rape, talks about the other guy. Like, she's pointing fingers at everyone else but herself. So the investigations and the police gathered evidence, and they found traces of blood stains on the wall in his bedroom. They found traces of blood on his bed. They found traces of blood on the carpet and also at the garage. And the family's 9mm gun that was in the family's home, they found Letitia's DNA on it, and it's the same gun that was said to have shot Gannon in the head. And the crazy part is, on that same day, Letitia had sent her teenage daughter to go and buy carpet cleaning supplies, buy trash bags, which is just cleaning supplies, which is what they believe to have been used to clean the crime scene. And when Carl's sister came earlier that day, she was told that Carl was sleeping, so she should not go and disturb him. And people believe that, like investigators believe, that at that time Carl might have already been killed. So like I said, she had an explanation as to why everything happened. There was the reason for the blood, like she said, was because Gannon had actually hurt himself earlier that day while he was working with her, and that was where the blood stains came from. That was her explanation, even though in the very breath she said they later went on a hiking trip. Like, if you hurt your feet and then you go on a hiking trip a couple of hours later, it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, that's what she said. And just a lot of stories just being turned here and there, but some of the really weird searches that were found to have been made on her phone were stuff like is my steps, is the biological mother going to buy me a Valentine's Day gift? Just like weird stuff. Like stuff like, is the real parent grateful for me taking care of the child? Just weird stuff like that. I think you can check that online. But she had those type of weird searches found on her search history. And now on Gannon's phone, there was one particular search history that stood out to the police, which was, can my parent find my phone if it's off? And this is something weird that stood out. So, can my parent find my phone, period, if it's off? And during her own search histories, those were type of stuff she always typed. Like, her typing style was to type and put a period and then continue the next sentence, which was the exact style that was used in typing on Gannon's phone at this time. And also, it said parent, not parents. So at this point, people are thinking, okay, if you're supposed to be two parents, that both of you are still alive, and if you're trying to, can my parent find my phone if it's off? So they're thinking of one parent, which is Al in this case. So like, the trial is still going on. I just wanted to catch you guys up to this, and I really find like, okay, this is really going to be a great case, and it's a case I'll be looking at. So she's up for trial, and let's see what her defense actually has. Somewhat of a case. They were like, during the window of when Gannon is said to have been killed, the back door of the family house opened and closed more than 10 times, which left a window for like someone else to might have come in and killed him and stuff like that. But we are going to see how the case unfolds. Let me know what you guys think. Do you really, like, there's no, like, all the things are just pointing at her, but she could still be innocent, but just acting really, really weird. And if she's innocent and acting weird, why was she acting weird? I mean, maybe she just panicked and is having all of these weird things. And why is she lying so much? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and there will probably be a part 2 to this when this case is finally over, or when something important comes up. Subscribe and like. When you like the video, it really pushes it a lot. So thank you, and see you guys in the next video.